Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Darren, Dizzy Stitcher. I hope you are all well and safe. I'm getting plenty of stitchy time in. This is my next stitch with me, so I think we're up to number 17 now. So today I'm going to work on the mystery stitch along that I'm doing with the Cross Stitch Studio, sorry. So this is the one that I need to get a bit of work in. As you can see, I'm a little bit behind, and this is one where you get a new page brought out every month, and apparently the next page that they're going to be bringing out, let me zoom it out, so this is page 1. The next page they're bringing out is the one underneath it, so page 5 I think it is. I was hoping it was going to go that way so you could find out what it is that we're actually going to be doing, but never mind. So before I get into stitching, a couple of people have been asking on my supersized piece, the Tiger Family of the Jungle, how I prevent page lines when we're doing just per page. So I thought I'd show you that first. Now, some people may have noticed, like down here, I have like what they call feathering, where you just do a couple of stitches into each page, and this kind of prevents you from getting the page lines when you work onto the next one. Also as well with the park threads, because your thread ends up here and then you park it underneath and then continue stitching, it's like the thread continues, so you shouldn't actually get the page lines on there as well. Or the other option that I do is on this one here, you can see this is where the page ends here, which is where the straight line is. What I do as well is, if a colour runs over into the next page, like here on the wings, I'll generally stitch a bit of that into it. So, I mean, these are parked as well to continue stitching the bits that are needed. So I just continue stitching over. I apologise if you can hear the cats, they're having a mad half hour. So yeah, so I just continue stitching a bit into the next block as well, into the next page, and that prevents you from getting the page lines. So as you can see, I mean on mine, you can't see any page lines at all because that's what I've done. I mean this one here, it was diagonal stitching, so that kind of went across there. So that doesn't give you any page lines either, doing the diagonal stitching. I've not noticed it anyway. And then here, yeah, here is where the next page started. And as you can tell, there's no page lines from me feathering into this one. So yeah, so I just thought I'd share that little tip for you. If any of you are doing large pieces and want to avoid page lines, that's how I do it. Oh, stray cat hair. So that's how I do it. So if anybody knows any different way, then please feel free to share, and I can pass that on to people who want to find out and learn how to do it without those. But I've never had any problems with page lines on there. On my piece behind me, the Majestic Tiger one that I have framed, that one I was trying all different techniques on how to do it, like stitching one block, then going that block, then that block, that block, that block, that block. And that one, you could actually see each individual block that I'd stitched. So that one gave you lines. I did the column going down by columns, and that one you could see the columns as well. The parts where I've done cross country like how I do now, you don't see any page lines at all on those ones. So I suppose some of it as well is to do with your tension. So if you have really tight tension or something like that, it kind of warps the fabric a little bit. So it kind of pulls it in one direction, so then you get the page lines. So, but yeah, if anybody has any other good ideas on how to prevent page lines, then again, as I say, let me know and I can pass it on. But I've never had any problems with those. So, that's, if you can hear a cat in the background, that's Tiger. He's trying to get one of the kittens to play with him, but they're not playing. They're playing with the toys. They don't want to play with him. And he doesn't like it. So he'll probably start attacking them soon because they're not playing with him. It's a little monkey like that. So you're going to see me skipping around a fair bit on here. So last night, well, yesterday should I say, I did my normal floss tube. And as you can tell, it was quite hot. I was a bit sweaty. It wasn't due to the heat, it was due to the wind. The wind was blowing in and it was really hot wind. Normally, I'm going to say, if there's no wind, it's not too bad. It's just like a dry heat, so you don't sweat that much. But I'm going to say, in Queensland, you get a lot of humidity as well. So, anyway, I was going to do my stitch with me yesterday, after I'd finished sorting everything out for my normal floss tube. And I was getting ready to do it, and then on the news they issued a severe storm warning for torrential rain, large hailstones and thunderstorms. And then it started coming over a little bit black, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this because the thunder had already started. I thought, right, I'm not going to do my stitch with me because you probably won't be able to hear anything at all if the thunder's and that's going off. So the rain started, it lasted 10 minutes and stopped. The thunder went on for a fair bit, and I was like, okay, come on, where's this storm? And then nothing happened. So if you know me, I like a good storm. And so I was so disappointed that nothing happened at all. And I could have done my stitch with me. Mum was like, oh well, never mind. So by the time everything had finished with the thunder and all that lot, it was about 8 o'clock at night. And I thought, well, there's no point filming one now because, as you know, I film my mum up on a Saturday night. Well, Saturday morning their time, Saturday night my time. So I thought, well, there's no point now because I'm phoning my mum in an hour. So by the time I've got everything set up and decided what piece I'm going to work on, it'll be a bit too late. So I thought I'll do it this morning. Well, it's nice and cool. So yeah, the temperature difference from yesterday to today is dramatic. So yesterday it was like 35 degrees, and by this time in the morning, well, it's 10 o'clock now, it was already near enough 35 degrees. Today it's about 24. Big difference. And then they say we're meant to go from tonight. It's meant to be raining again. So, and the rain's meant to be here for near enough a week. But we will see. So that means the neighbour will be out cutting his garden again, no doubt, within the week, as soon as I get a bit of rain. Everyone seems to like my story about my neighbour. It is quite funny though. I've never known anyone so obsessed with cutting the grass. But he doesn't always cut the grass. Well, he does. In summertime, he's always out there cutting the grass. Wintertime, not so much. But as I mentioned in one of my comments to somebody, if there's been no rain for maybe a week, he goes out and waters it. Now, bearing in mind we're on water tanks, so you've only got whatever water's in your tank. But they will water their garden. His wife's the same as well, she does it too. So they will go out and water the garden if it's not rained for like about a week. So they must obviously like the grass. But then they run out of water from watering the grass all the time. So then they have to go out and buy water. And it's like, the thing over here is, if you don't have much rain, everything starts dying off. And it dies off pretty quick. But as soon as the rain comes, I mean, you can't even see what I'm stitching in. You could have like rain for one day, but if it's a decent downpour, the following day everything is green again. It greens up really, really quickly. So you'd think, sorry, you can probably hear the cats, they're going crazy. So you'd think they'd save the water instead of going out and buying it, and just wait for the rains to come. But no, they have to water the garden all the time. And as I say, it's not like they're obviously obsessed with the garden, because they don't have any flower beds. So all it is grass. And their yard is split. So they have a fence part, which, if you've seen one of my older videos, you'll see where the kangaroo was tormenting the dog. So that's in the fence part, so where the dogs are. And then the rest of it is just like a field. But they have to insist on cutting all of it. So we'll just do the yard one where the dogs are. If needs be, cut that one every week or whatever, and then just do the big one every couple of weeks. But now they have to do it every week. Winter is not too bad. They don't do it as often. But in summer, it's nearly every week. But they also like to start doing it really early in the mornings too. So I think the earliest they've ever started mowing their lawn was like 6:30 in the morning. Luckily I was up. For it's like, well, it's a bit rude. There's like people in bed and you decide to cut the lawn at like 6:30 in the morning. So I know where I am, because it's rural, there's not that many people, well, not that many houses around together. So yeah, I understand that you probably don't have to worry about noise as much. But when you've got a neighbour that's not that far away from your property, you'd think you'd be a bit more considerate. But hey ho. So I have got my own back on them once. Decided to cut the grass at 7 o'clock in the morning. But that was only once. Too early in the morning to be cutting grass for me. Yeah, you can definitely going to be able to hear the cats today. They've been good for the last couple of videos. But today, no, they're on one. I think it's probably because it's a bit cooler. It's been quite warm for the last couple of days, so they normally just flake out. But today it's obviously a little bit warmer. So I haven't got around to ordering my fabric yet. I'm gonna wait until tomorrow when they're open, so I can at least send them a message just to see. Sorry, look, Ginger's playing with a toy. I don't know what toy he's playing with, but he's absolutely going mental with it. He's throwing it everywhere. So yes, I'm going to send him a message just to see, because when you go onto the site it says out of stock, because I mean, there is a message on there saying that they are waiting on fabric because obviously everything's going off. So there is about a 4 to 6 weeks turnaround. So I just need to message him just to make sure that I can put an order through still, even though it's showing out of stock. I'm sure they won't mind. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to receiving that and see actually what it looks like up close. I've seen somebody actually stitching on a piece of that fabric, but when they showed the fabric, it looked a lot bluer than what it is now. It could have just been the camera that they're using for doing the video, or it could have been a different fabric, because I know different fabric takes the dyes differently. So it could have been that, but yeah, it didn't look as, I mean, on that one it looks like a grey colour, but the one that they showed in their video was like a dark blue. So I'm hoping it's not going to be as dark as what it shows on their video, because you might not be able to see half the stitches. But we'll see when I get it ordered. Just marking off, sorry. Gimme. There we go. I apologise as well if you can hear a noise in the background. It sounds like somebody else is doing some work in one of their gardens. By the sounds of it, they're cutting a tree down. I was speaking of cutting trees. So at the front of the property that I'm in, there's a couple of trees. Now, if you remember, I showed the video of the rain that we had. Well, the day after, Mum was getting ready to, I was going to the realtors to sign my new lease, and got to the front of the house, and one of the trees had lost a branch. It'd come down, but it was still connected to the tree. So I let them know, the realtor and the landlord come and cut the branch off. Sorted. Yesterday, the wind got up a bit with this storm. I was meant to materialise, that didn't. And I heard a rustle. It was like kind of like a little bit of a crack and a rustle, and I thought, oh, the cats have found a bag or something like that, and they're playing with the bag. Yeah, no, we've lost another tree branch. Same tree. Now, where the tree is, it's kind of near the road as well that goes past the house. So it's like, well, I better go and check just to make sure that this tree hasn't gone onto the road, because I don't want it to cause any kind of accidents. So I got down there, the tree's not gone over the road, good. It's gone over the mailbox and over the gate that leads out the yard. I thought, okay, we'll get that moved. Yeah, no, couldn't move it. It's a big branch. But the thing is, right above where that is, there is a power line. So I was trying to see if I could shake the branch a little bit so it would either snap off the tree or at least move. But when I'm doing that, the top part of the tree that's left was getting closer and closer to this power line. It's like, yeah, nah, we're going to leave that one. So I'll just contact the realtor and get them told so they can get the landlord to come and sort that tree branch out. So yeah, that's one thing I have noticed about over here in Australia compared to in the UK, is the power lines all run overground. And, well, in most places, there's not very many places I've seen where it's actually underground. So most of them run overground, but they're not. Everyone has trees over here, and on the side of the roads there's always big trees as well. But the power lines will always run right next to the trees. So if you get a good storm or anything like that, and the trees come down, and then you've got no power, you'd think they would start putting the power cables underground. Though I know it will probably be down to money wise over here, because Australia's a big country and the towns are quite far apart from each other. So I know it would cost a fair bit of money, but with all the upgrades and stuff like that they do to the roads and building new bridges, and you'd think they'd put a bit of money in to move the power lines, but they don't. So whereas in the UK, all the power lines run underground, except for when you're out in the rural areas. But even then, they're quite high up, and they make sure there's no trees around. So it's not very often in the UK you get many power cuts. The only time you should really get the power cuts is if one of the, what do you call them, transformers or whatever gets hit by lightning, or if some idiot's been driving stupid and run into one. But that's not very often. But over here, there always seems to be blackouts. But because they're always getting struck by lightning. Or a tree's come down and knocked the power out. So you would think they would start pointing them underground. Be a lot easier. Right. Move that one out the way. Well, that one I parked there, I started doing cross country from over here. And it got to there and I got nothing around it to tie it in. Because obviously this one is on 28 count. Doing a pin stitch on a 28 count is a bit tricky. So I've got to pin stitched it in, but that would have taken a while. So I just parked it there until I got some colours around it, so then I can tie it in. So, as you're aware, I'm now doing my own thread drops. I'm only making them out of cereal boxes at the moment because I can't seem to get any cardstock. So, but cereal boxes work just as fine. Nice cheap alternative. Anyway, I was doing some yesterday, and I put my thread on it, and I was working on my native wolf piece. So it was a new piece of thread, well, skein. So I undid it all, put it on a thread drop. Went to pull a piece of floss out so I could use it, and I'd forgot to snip the bottom of the thread, so it was all looped together. So I'm trying to pull out this great big length of floss, and I was like, what's going on here? This piece is going on forever. I know it was all knotting up the bottom part. It's like, oops. So that took me a while to get that all untangled and re-sorted out and then snipped. So yeah, and I was like, yeah, don't want to be doing that again. That was a bit stupid. So anyway, carried on stitching away, and then I went for another colour. This one I had already put on a thread drop, so it was already there. So I start doing that one, and I'm like, this length's going on for a long time. Yep, you guessed it, I'd done it again. I'd not snipped the bottom. I don't know why I'd not snipped the bottom. Every other time I've done it, I've always snipped the bottom straight away. So yeah, so then spent another half an hour getting that one untangled and sorted out. Luckily it weren't as big as a mess as the first one I'd done, but still, it was a pain in the butt. So yeah, so note to yourself, if you're doing your own thread drops, or even if you're putting floss on a thread drop, make sure you cut the the piece of cotton first. Well, once you've got it all done, before you start trying to put one out. Otherwise you could be in for a big delay. So yeah, won't be doing that again. So when I was on the phone with my mum, I was getting the rest, well, getting some more of the native wolf ones ready. So yeah, needless to say, I made sure every single one got cut. I went out through, after I finished on the phone with my mum, went through and checked that I'd done them all. So they're all ready to go. Yes, the cats have found a bug if you can hear them. I think that's Kitty. It's a bit bad when you can tell which cat's making a noise. Kitty likes to tell you as well when she's caught something. She'll come in her mouth and she'll be making all these weird noises. Just to tell you she's got something, but she won't let you see what it is. You go near, she runs off. 9 out of 10 it's a moth or a grasshopper. Every now and then it's a cockroach. She had a cockroach last night. I don't know where she got it from. I haven't seen any cockroaches for a while. But yeah, she had a cockroach. So yeah, they do make me laugh, my cats. They are crazy. They're the only cats I know as well that don't really like cuddles. Pick up Tiger, he doesn't mind. He lets you give him a cuddle as long as you're showing him out the window so he can see what's going off. Ginger and Kitty, they don't like cuddles at all. Kitty will let you hold her for about 20 seconds, if that, and then she starts fighting to get at you. Get out your arms, but then she'll come back to you wanting another fuss. Strange cat. Ginger will let you hold him for a little bit longer, but not much. If you're giving him food, he'll let you hold him forever. If you're not giving him food, he don't want to know. So yeah, they're the only cats I know that don't really like having cuddles. All my other cats I've ever had love cuddles. Some of them are a pain in the bum wanting cuddles. My eldest cat that I've got, which is over in the UK with my mum, Lucy, she loves cuddles and sitting on your knee and everything. She kind of makes it hard when you're trying to stitch because she's always after the floss. But yeah, she's a softie. Same as the 2 boys that we've got over there as well. They're big softies. They like the cuddles. But yeah, these 3, no, I don't want to know. If it's on their terms though, oh yeah, they're your best mates because they want to cuddle. They want you to fuss them. But you can always guarantee, Tiger's the one that normally comes up if he wants a fuss. But you can always guarantee it's when I'm stitching. And he tries to get on your knee. And it's like, you can't go on there because I've got my cross stitch. But no, he makes his way underneath. So then you have to put your cross stitch down. Because you can't do anything because you've got a big cat sat on your knee. So as soon as you move the cross stitch, that's it, he gets off, we don't want to know. But then he wants to start playing with the floss. So then you have to put it away until he's settled down again. Strange cats. They had to make, and they were making me laugh last night. There was a baby gecko in the lounge room. And it was well out of the way. I'm going to say, I'm in what we call an old Queenslander. So in old Queenslanders, the rooms are, well, the ceilings are really high. So I would say, what, it's a good, maybe 3.5 meters from the floor. So they're really high. So this baby gecko was actually on the roof. These cats wanted it. All of them. Well, there was no way they were getting it. It was too high up. But they were determined. Now, this baby gecko moved over to near where I sit when I do my stitching. So I had 3 cats sat on the arm of the sofa, looking up at this baby gecko, trying to figure out how they were going to get it. And I was like, there's no way you're getting it in this world. There's no way. Not unless it comes down the wall. Well, the gecko decided it was coming down the wall. So I had to get up and shoo him back up the wall. So he went back up. So the cat sat there again for ages watching it. But this gecko must have been there for a good hour and a half. And these cats just sat watching it all that time. I was like, well, it keeps them out of trouble. I tell that, it must have been longer than that. That gecko must have been there, near enough in the same spot for 3 hours. And it was only a little tiny one, so he was trying to chase little flies. He caught one, but I think it was too big for him. He was having trouble trying to eat it. And then he come to 10 o'clock last night, and it's like, well, I'm going to have to get rid of it, because if I don't, the cats are going to be there all night, jumping around, trying to get to this gecko. So at 10 o'clock last night, I'm chasing this gecko up and down the walls with a little container, so I could trap him, so I could kick him out. I managed to get it eventually. It took me a couple of attempts. To say it's only little, it was fast. Very fast. So I managed to catch him and put him outside. The tiger was following me all over the place, wanted to know where I was taking it, because he wanted that gecko. So I put him outside, and then I had to show Tiger the tub was empty, otherwise he would have carried on trying to get into the tub. So I showed him the tub was empty, and after that he weren't bothered. But yeah, my cats love the geckos. We have some that come on the door. So the front door has a glass panel at the top, and then a couple down the sides. Every now and then you'll see a gecko stick his head round, or it'll just be in the middle of the glass. So the cats go crazy trying to get to it. It's quite funny to watch. One day I might actually get to video it. But what I have to do, so the cats can try and attempt to get it, even though it's through glass, they still attempt to try and get it. I have to pick them up one at a time, so I can scratch the glass a couple of times to see if they can get it to move or whatever, or try and get it. Then I have to swap the cat over, pick the next one up, do the same again, and I keep having to do that until the gecko disappears. So the things you do to keep your cats entertained. If I can, at one point, I'm going to try and see if I can film it, because it's so comical. Ginge actually, when you go near him, when he sees the gecko, he actually stands up on his back legs and puts his front legs up in the air, you know, like a kid when they want you to pick him up. He does that. It's so funny, so comical. And that's, if you heard that, that was Tiger and Kitty playing. Well, Kitty's obviously getting hid, so Tiger's now meowing for her. So yeah, so it is quite comical watching the cats with the gecko on the glass screen. So I'm going to see if I can get that filmed at some point, and then I'll show you. Yeah, Ginger's so comical how he just stands up with his paws out, well, arms out, whatever, waiting for you to pick him up. But obviously the cats aren't kittens no more, so they're heavy. Especially Tiger, he weighs a ton now. I mean, he's a big cat anyway. which is really heavy. So trying to hold this big cat up so he can attack a glass to try and get a gecko that he's never going to be able to get. It takes it out on your arms, that's for sure. But if I don't do it, they just sit there and meow and meow and meow. So if you're trying to watch anything on floss tube or TV, you can't hear anything because of the cats. So you have to do it. But you can always guarantee as well that these geckos turn up when you're watching a movie or something, and it's right getting to the interesting part, and then the cats start going off because the gecko's on the glass. So you have to pause your video, movie, and then go and lift the cats up, and then come back to the movie, and then start it again, and then the gecko will come back. But when it's not the exciting parts in the movie, no, there's no gecko there. It's as if they know. Sorry about that, get cut off midway. Always the case, whenever I'm doing one of these, somebody always phones me. It's as if they know. I think they're watching as well. I've got to try and remember where I am. So I've had a couple of people messaging me because they're starting big projects and wanted to know what's best way of doing things, on whether it's 28 count, 25 count, and which one, what gives better coverage, 1/1 or 10 stitch. So again, with that, it depends, one, on what your eyesight's like, two, what kind of stitching you prefer to do. So the best thing to do is, if you've got different counts, just do little test stitches. So just in a corner part that you know you're not going to be using, just do little test stitches and see which one you prefer. I'm going to say on 25 count, I always find that doing 1/1 probably gives you a bit more coverage, but doing 10 stitch goes quicker. On 28 count, like I'm using now, then I find that both give good coverage, either full cross or 10 stitch. It's the darker colours more than anything that give you more of a problem, because on 25 count, if you're doing 10 stitch, you generally can see some of the fabric through. Not as much as if you were doing 1/1, but you can still see the fabric. On 28 count, I find that you can't really see any of the fabric come through. Not had any problems on the ones I've been working on yet, but as of yet I haven't really got to a lot of dark colours. But the ones that I have started that have got a bit of dark colours, which is the Wizard Septimus, that one you can't see any of the fabric through it at all, and that one's been done 10 stitch. And then with my over ones on 28 count, which is Castle Wolves is one of them, and because that's all light colours, for some reason they seem to be a bit thicker. I don't know why. So yeah, so you don't really see the fabric come through on those anyway. So there again, if you're unsure and you've got the fabrics there, just do a little test stitch. So just do a 10x10 block with light colours and dark colours, and that'll give you an idea of what it's going to look like when you've done it. I would always recommend going with the dark colours, so then you can see if you're going to be seeing the fabric through it or not. It's like some people do it 10 stitch on lower counts as well, Now, if you're going to do it on lower counts, then I suggest that you use more strands. Doing 2 strands, you're going to see way too much fabric through. Like, for example, if you're doing it on 18 count or 20 count, you can see a lot more colours through it. So I would always recommend doing test stitches just to see. Where have I done here? It does love it when you've miscounted. I think I've miscounted 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, missed a stitch out. Have I? Yep. This is the fun part, trying to frog on 28 count. It's not as easy. It's alright if you've not got many colours around you. It's pretty easy to frog it. He says, come on. But yeah, I missed a stitch out. Need to come down one more. And trying to thread your needle again is a bit harder when you've only got a short length of floss. It's always harder when you've got a short length of floss to thread your needle than it is when you've got a large piece. Don't know why. Probably because it's more, a bit more fussy. Right. One of these days I'm going to do a really, really long stitch with me for you guys. Everyone keeps saying how much stitching they get done and could I make them longer. So one of these days I'm going to do a really, really long stitch with me. And then you'll all be moaning that it's too long. There we go. Right. Mark that off. So we've not done too bad. So what are we up to? Not 213 stitches in. That's not too bad going for about a 45-minute video-ish. I don't know how long it's been now because I got a phone call. So hopefully 45 minutes-ish. So it's long enough for you guys. So that will do for today. So yeah, not bad progress. So we'll leave it there then, guys. So hopefully you've managed to get plenty of stitching done. Again, any questions or comments, please feel free to drop those down below. Or you can email me. Again, my email address is dizzystitcher@gmail.com. Again, you'll find this down below as well in the description box. You can follow me on Instagram. On there, that's Dizzy Stitcher. You can also message me on there as well. And assuming I'm not asleep, I will message you back. Or I'm not at work. If so, you'll have to wait until my break. So that's everything, guys. So that's it for today. So I will catch you in my next video, which will be my next weekly update next weekend. So until then, guys, stay safe, happy stitching, and we'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, take care, and bye bye for now.